Thank you so much for staying with us, everyone. It's the Edo State Governorship debate live on Channels Television. We have come to a very critical moment where the candidates will be asking themselves questions. And of course, we're taking some of your questions both here in these premise and of course online, some of the questions you've been asking the candidates on our various social media platforms. Just before we get into the rebuttal period, my colleague Sulaiman, you were going to ask a question before we went on that break. What was it like?
I'd like to ask the two candidates, that's that of the APC and the PDP, to tell us clearly, because most citizens of the state are still not clear. If you look at what is trending online, they want them to categorically, for instance, I'll start with Mr. Izayamu. Some of those anomalies you found out, for instance, with the breweries, Bende Breweries, Okwila Cement Factory, the one in Ewo, the feeds and flour mills, as well as some issues that has to do with local government matters. Did you, while you were in the APC, confront your own government then, which you were part of, just tell them that, look, this is not the way to go, since you have the recipe?
Well, when I was secretary to government, I will tell you the local governments were paying their workers their salaries. Local governments were doing projects. It's only in the past 7.5 years that we've had this kind of problem. And quite honestly, you know that following the constitution, the state supervises the local government. Again, in terms of those ailing industries, I just believe that the state government, for reasons best known to them, have decided not to bother with them. For example, Bendel, Edo Line. Edo Line has prime properties all over the country. If you were to even dispose of some of them, it's more than enough to write off their liabilities. But government has just chosen to close the place. We are going to have a different approach completely. In my simple agenda,
you know, my question, sorry to cut you there, my question is, at that time, did you bring before the government some of these observations and solutions as secretary to government?
When I was secretary to government, the problems are not there. When I was secretary to government...
No, you didn't get me.
When I was secretary to government...
When you were a member of the APC before you left.
No, of course, we see, anyone will tell you that when I was in APC, if there was somebody that could talk to the governor, I was that person. And it's not in doubt at all. There are so many times I spoke to him concerning several issues. There are so many times I spoke to him, and those in the APC, they are aware. But I'm also happy that on my 50th birthday, the governor wrote me a letter signed by him. And in that letter, he attested that whatever achievement he has been able to make in the past 48 months of his government is largely, to quote him, largely attributed to the quality of counsel I gave to him. That letter is there.
All right,
you know?
all right. That's
so
it.
That will tell you that.
Your time is up. Your time is up.
Before I come to Mr. Obaseki, because I want Mr. Obaseki to react and tell us his own idea. I'll, for the last time, speak to your supporters. Please, it's a live event, and such uncouth language should not be thrown at any of the candidates, please. Now, Mr. Obaseki, some of these issues raised, because we're trying to find solutions to all of these. Edo people are worried. They want to see some of these industries bounce back. They want to see some issues that we have just discussed here with solutions. They still are not clear with clear-cut out solution from you.
Okay. The government of the PDP government in the state was the most irresponsible we've ever had in our history. I take it one company at a time. Okwila Cement, they sold to 2-3 investors. That could not be resolved until we came in and finally put a halt and gave it to an investor who has now rebuilt it. Bendel Breweries, they had crisis and they killed that company. Today it's in Amcon. Edo Line, they took money from Union Bank. They took in excess of 200 million naira at that time, bought vehicles, and the vehicles did not go into the company. You know, so if you go through all the companies they inherited, they plundered those companies. The ones they claimed that they have created.
So now we're talking about solutions now.
Yes, no. So what we have done is to say, look, we don't have a track record, either from the ones we inherited or the ones they claimed they built. So definitely that's no longer the way to go. Let's leave business, let business people manage business and let government manage government.
All right, well, we're going into the rebuttals now. And instead of asking your fellow contenders on the stage 2 questions, you will only be able to ask one of the contenders. So let me start, because you've just spoken, let me start from Pastor Izeyamo. You have the opportunity to ask any of your co-debaters here a question, and that is in 30 seconds, and everyone has 1 minute to respond right now. Go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Godwin Obaseki. Your company, AfriInvest, facilitated the 30 billion water storm funding from the capital market and the $225 million from the World Bank. Can you please tell us how much as commission did your company take? Number 2.
All right, no, that's 30 seconds. You can go. 1 minute to answer the question, Mr. Obaseki. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Here again, Pastor Izeyamo, my company did not raise 30 billion naira for the rainstorm master plan. It is wrong and it is untrue. What we did was Edo State government 7 years ago raised a bond in the capital markets. This is what I know, this is what I've done for a living, and I availed the state government the opportunity of the skills of my company. I disclosed it, and there was nothing wrong with that because there was full disclosure. But secondly, in the case of the World Bank facilities, it is unfortunate that, for whatever reasons, you've not been exposed to this quality of financing. It is impossible when you are dealing with the quality of institutions like the World Bank. They do not pay commissions.
Your time is up. 1 minute is up. Mr. Areloge, 30 seconds to ask your question. Pick a candidate you want to ask a question.
Now, I would like to ask my brother here, Mr. Naiwu, how will you intend to stop?
Your time is counting, please. Go ahead.
I would like to ask my brother here, how will you intend to stop civil servants demonstration when voted in power?
1 minute to answer, Mr. Onaiwu. Your time starts counting right now.
Pay them their salary regularly. That's all. That's the only way they will stop demonstration.
All right. Mr. Onaiwu, your time to ask a question. 30 seconds, and it starts counting right now.
This one is for Pastor Izeyamo. I want you to tell me the moral justification for you to contest this election. After serving Lucky Gubernatorial for 8 years and being part of Oshomole for 6 years. So tell me the moral justification.
All right, thank you. Pastor Izeyamo, your time starts to count right now. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Thank you. I have never contested for the office of governor. There's a world of difference between being an appointee and being a chief executive or governor. Again, in Oshomole's government, I was just a political leader, in quotes. I did not hold any office, so I cannot be accountable for what they did. So in this election, for the first time, I'm presenting myself, and I'm more than qualified to contest for the office of governor of Edo State.
All right, thank you. Mr. Obaseki, pick a candidate to ask to rebut, and your time starts to count right now.
Pastor Izeyamo, as Secretary to Government of Edo State, you signed a memo. There was a memo of council which invested $30 million of Edo taxpayers' money in a company called Eva Cement, where we had Upila Cement that was destroyed. Can you tell the people of Edo State why you invested that amount of money when we hadn't built schools in a private company?
Mr. Izeyamo, your time starts counting now to respond.
I'm surprised that Godwin Obaseki, a so-called economic expert, will be asking me that question. When Bruce Ali University is underfunded, you advise your principal, you advise your principal to start a new one. But to answer your question, Smith.
If you calm down now so that I can quickly answer. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Now, to answer your question, I'm happy that you acknowledge that the state government invested money in putting a cement company in Edo State. Not in the governor's village, but in Edo North Okwila. That factory, even by the disclosure of your former commissioner of commerce, was 94% completed.
Your time is
Why have you not completed it?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how far we can go at this time. It's been a wonderful conversation that we've had on this debate here today. We have several questions, but we cannot take them because of our time. But we close on this note. I would like the four candidates to shake each other, and if you not mind, maybe give each other a hug. And on that note, I want to thank my colleagues. Sulaiman Alade, many thanks for being here, and Stanley Ashalokwa. On behalf of Channels Television and everyone here, enough is enough Nigeria. That's it, our show from Benin City. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.
Television, celebrating 21 years of professional broadcasting.